The Say Something podcast is brought to you by amomentwithmorris.com and blackblueprints.com. That's blackblueprints with a Z.com. I am Jermaine Morris here, the one and only Mr. Barry Accius.
Yes, sir.
We are bringing you the Say Something podcast.
Say something, say something, say something.
Where we get together, talk about everything going on in the life and the world out here in these streets.
In these cool streets.
Coming at you, bringing episode number 62.
62! Boo! Fire!
We getting pretty deep in here.
But we almost at 100.
We're going to be there in a minute. 62, want to give a special shout out to a gentleman who has since passed. He's gone on to greener pasture.
This is the second or third gentleman you did in a row, dog.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Nah, 2. Before that was Lauren, remember?
Lauren Hill?
That was Lauren.
Okay.
Just
keeping you honest.
I'm
no, you don't remember.
I remember.
It's 2018, the year of keeping everyone honest.
I remember. I take that. Me too. And this gentleman, and notably for some folks, they call him the godfather of stand-up. He was had a very tumultuous start. He was born, his mother was a prostitute. His father was a boxer turned hustler. At the age of 10, he was sent to go live with his grandparents, who lived with his grandmother in her brothel. And from that, he went on, and all these different experiences shaped him from forms of molestation to surrounded by drug abuse and the sex working industry. He kept it together enough. He went and joined the military, and even there he had incidences because this was somebody who had a lot of stuff he was trying to process, and he found a way to use his voice through laughter. He inspired those like Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock to Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart. He had 7 children in life, married 6 times, twice to the same woman. 'Cause that's funny. Special love.
Why would you...
Just a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
Special love and appreciation for his surname. Little love one time to Richard Franklin Lennox Thomas Pryor.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor, for those that don't know.
What was one of his cocaine lines? Cocaine is like a hell of a drug.
I thought one of his lines was...
Yeah, definitely was that. And I heard like he was like bisexual or something like
all
that.
All that stuff, man. And that was where he was known as the godfather and the grandfather of stand-up, is because he told just the straight up truth.
No.
Like, I mean, he was up there talking about his, bisexual activities. He was up there talking about, how he was abused growing up, the stuff he used to see. He kept it, 98 plus 2 when he was up on stage.
Man.
And he was somebody that inspired so many. You can't look at any of these today's comics and not see Richard. I mean, even from Steve Harvey's mustache and suits to, Chappelle's just speaking bluntly about what's going on in life now, to Chris Rock's breakdown of the political process and how that affects everyday people. Like you see him in all these people whenever they take the stage. Somebody who was extremely unapologetic about the life he lived. Like I said, he was straight up, and somebody that I think we got to give a little extra love, a little new noteworthy time, Richard.
Didn't we already clap for him?
But if you can hear, we've got more than we've got a couple of extra claps.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we do. Got a few extra bodies in the building. We got a couple
of extra claps, and the reason is we got, once again, special guests in the building.
Yeah. I'm done clapping.
Making her second appearance here with us on the Say Something podcast. First and foremost, to my right, we got Miss D Haze in the building.
D Haze in the building.
I'm happy to be here. Peace and love, family.
No doubt of you and sister serving sack and all good things. What is it? She a hairstylist, a mother,
a
barber. Excuse me, entrepreneur.
2 licenses.
2 licenses in the cosmetology world.
What was that? Heyman, the Jamaican.
Oh yeah.
The doorman, the lawn man, the man about town. I'm the man on the spot.
I would never let her cut my hair, but hey.
But we respect her talent. Also here with us, making her debut performance on the Say Something podcast, is Dana Maisha.
Peace, family. I'm happy to be here.
Mrs. does everything. She's on about several different. She owns several different businesses and runs several different organizations, and she's on several different podcasts as well.
Oh, you been making a podcast circuit?
A little something.
Okay.
She's being shot right now.
Oh, okay. Lots going on out here in the traffic since the last time we got together.
In these cold streets, yeah. You like that, huh?
I like that. So we got a slightly different perspective now, because normally you get to hear myself and Barry as we talk about what's going on out here.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Shouts out to my brother, Tef Poe. Let's not that. Trap the vote. If y'all ain't got episode 61, tune in to episode 61. Trap the vote. Tef Poe, politics as usual. Wow, my brother was holding it down. Funny story about it when we was trying to get him out of here. He didn't even have a plane ticket to leave out at 5 in the morning. So we ended up having to come back and leave at 1 in the afternoon because we had been up all night. Yeah, right.
Amazing episode. Great conversation. We're not going to call it an interview. It was just a great conversation with him talking about everything. Like I said, politics, voting, the moves made after Ferguson, how that affects us here in Sacramento and everybody everywhere. Like I said, so you normally get myself and Barry's take on what's going on. So we have women energy in the building, a female perspective.
Power of a queen, yeah.
Can we say pussy power?
Pussy power? I don't want to say it. I don't want Me Too coming after me.
Pussy power.
We just don't throw that out there.
Exactly. And she just said pussy power. I'm happy she said it and not us.
Yeah, we don't need that smoke. So what's going on out here? Some of the stuff to talk about, and so we can because you can get the male perspective of stuff, how we see this, how we would move, how we would operate around different things. Y'all have a unique perspective, of not only being women but also being mothers.
Definitely.
So when it comes to how we see things as men, you see not only the woman version, but then you also see what your sons coming up, what they might be facing. Okay. Something that's become big in this country. Not that it's a new condition, but now because cell phones have become, the CNN of the streets and people can promote more. Anything while black is requiring a 911 call these days. Drinking coffee while black, standing while black, doing your job while black, ordering a pizza while black. All that stuff has been getting cop calls regularly. They're showing videos countless across the country where people are just blatantly calling the police either to antagonize or instigate a situation or just because they feel like that's the way to get rid of black people from where they are. They were showing one video where a woman was yelling gun while screaming into her phone, calling 911 to a brother who was in his car, who was not even approaching her, but she kept yelling, calling 911 and screaming gun, hoping that the police would show up and execute this brother just because she didn't like him. So, I mean, these things are going on regularly. They're showing the one brother was out there doing the house assessment where he was supposed to inspect the property, and the woman next door called the police because in her eyes, he shouldn't be there. There was a sister who was sleeping in the communal room at Yale. And the girl called the police because they didn't think she should be there. And for some people, they do it because they think, it's just a way to get rid of them, or let's just wait and see what happens. But this can have very dangerous outcomes. And so, as you guys, I'm sure you've seen some of these videos, you've seen some of this stuff happen. What resonates with you when you watch this? And does that make you feel any safety differences for yourself and then especially for your children? One of y'all.
Let's see. The one that I most recently watched was the young boy. I believe he was in high school, and it seemed like he was dressed up like after prom, and he's at a Waffle House. So I didn't watch the full video, but all I saw was a police officer that was twice his size choke holding him and wrestling him to the ground. So obviously that makes me think of my son and him being in any type of situation. And like you said, if someone seems like, if they feel like he shouldn't be in that situation, in that environment, then they can just obviously call the police. And we don't know the outcome because he could be shot, like anything could happen. We don't know the outcome once the police gets there or once the authorities do get there, whether they're right or wrong in that particular situation. So that's scary.
Yeah, that was the infamous. I don't even know why folks are still going to Waffle House. Like it's serious. Dana, do you have any views?
Yeah, I have some views. I was just thinking about, as the sister queen was talking, I was just thinking about how their emotional safety. You know, like my son and your son, if they were to come in contact with the police, just how they feel emotionally. Like, you know, they're supposed to be raised and bred to be warriors themselves, and to just have that kind of taken from them, and they're always in a vulnerable or subservient position, that has to do something to a young boy's psyche. So I'm really concerned about that as well too. You know, physical safety, of course. Also, though, the emotional aspect of it.
Okay, what do you think that looks like? So when you think of a young boy, like the one who was coming from prom, he was, let's just call it 17. I don't have his exact age, but that, you know, give or take a year. And you're getting, you know, choke slammed. You know, you're just getting emasculated in that moment, you know, by someone. It's not even a question of his physical dominance, but because of his profession, you can't swing back and you can't do what, you know, or losing your life. What do you think that looks like 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road? You said you're worried about what that would do to his psyche. What is it that you're actually worried about?
Well, I know for sure they would feel a level of frustration that, if not processed appropriately, can turn into other things. You know, it could turn into aggression. You know, sometimes we find that people act out or aggress upon people whom they can aggress upon because they themselves have been emasculated. And also, too, you just want your son to grow up to feel like a man. You know what I'm saying? And so, and to feel like a man in every sense of the word, and that not only can he protect those he loves, but he can kind of protect himself. And so, I don't know, I guess they used to call that during slavery bug breaking.
Different practice, same end result. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, it's kind of...
Just for those at home who are not familiar with the historical aspect of what you're referring to, that's where they used to take men and sodomize them, you know, in front of an audience. And so that's how they would break the spirit of the man that they were basically raping, as well as the spirit of other men who thought about rising up, as well as what that visual did to the women who looked at him. Like, this is not somebody you're going to rally behind. Like, we have, you know, that the epitome of emasculation, you know, in front of the group. Little things in history that they don't teach you in social studies, you know. But I think that these are real concerns, because there are some people who believe that if you walk away from that type of incident and there's no gunshot, you know, that the kid wasn't shot, that he's fine. That he got to go home, he's okay. Or maybe he just learned a life lesson in the moment and he'll move a little bit differently. But I don't think we pay enough attention to the psychological ramifications of what those things do. You know, those types of moments. How you feel? How's that rest with you, Barry?
Well, when you look at all things considered, I definitely believe psychologically that it's affecting our community to the point where we cannot go a day now without something racial potent in our face that's creating this idea that, first, we're inferior, and second, that there is really this fear factor, and it's a lie. You know, let's be very clear. Black people are prisoners of this moment, that now folks are like, well, my God, we can't do anything. This has been happening. The only thing that's different about what's going on right now, it's being recorded, right? And now that some of the things are so absurd, we make these memes on it to make it seem funny, but it's really not actually funny. And the racism, the prejudice that has been going on in America is clearly now evident. So I think that what it does, it really creates this inferior attitude and mentality for a lot of black people, because we are being bullied. We're being bullied by white people, and white people are having a good old time being able to play around and pretend that they're really in fear, that we're not supposed to be in a Starbucks. They're really in fear that we would run out on the bill, so we have to pay before we eat. Yeah. And all these things are now being put to the forefront because it's a news story. It's very trendy. I just got called the N-word probably a couple months ago, right? By this this you know, neo-Nazi at the the Jeff Sessions rally in Sacramento. You know what I mean? And I could have kind of really pushed it, but I really didn't push it as much as I should have. And I remember just probably like 4 or 5 years ago, me and one of my mentees were being called all type of N-words after we had dined over at this restaurant that used to be in Sacramento. And the patriots and the people were just looking in shock as this white woman basically called us every version of the N-word that she could kind of get out of her freaking mouth.
Yeah.
And I remembered asking one of my colleagues and asking them, what should I do about it? I should take it to the press and things of that nature. And they were like, well, you really can't say this and say that. Gave me bad information. But now, had that had happened in this day and age, I could have been on the front page news with the kind of racism and with the kind of rant and the kind of stuff that she's doing is the kind of stuff that we're seeing. It's generally letting us know really how a lot of white folks feel about black people. And if now the Negro is saying to themselves, well, we're equal and everybody is the same. If we're still cheering on that notion now, we are running around looking for fool's gold. Because if this is not, and this is not saying that all white folks think like that. We don't, but
yeah, I know we
have to preface that sometimes. But the reality is enough. Enough do. And when you know enough do, the one thing that I know, the way you let a person know that you're very serious about how they treat you, you stop supporting the things that create their power. You stop supporting the revenue things that build their stream of income. You start creating and you start building your own. So in this whole wave of, let's think about it. We've gone through major characters. Like if it was Paula Deen, right?
Yeah.
Going with her racial rant. We've gone through
waiters dressed up like slaves.
Yeah. We've gone through, major, entities, kind of showing us what it is. The NFL, Colin Kaepernick still isn't in the NFL right now. Mm-hmm. We have been shown on every level how it is. We have watched white people march in South Carolina and show us a stance that looks like we're back in the 1950s.
Tiki torches and
yes.
khakis.
So when is it going to be enough, Negro, for you to sit there and say, time to build, time to divide the pie, and start to create our own?
Okay, so looking at that, and since we have some women in the building, so the argument comes in sometimes that the black male and black female struggle are not entirely the same. That you'll find within this system that it's a little softer landing for black women than it is black men. I'm not saying this is true individually, but there is that narrative that gets floated around. That the idea, if you look at systemically, that young black men are locked up at a much higher rate than young black women. That the idea of you do have issues with like Sandra Bland, but you're more likely than not, if somebody's getting shot, Philando Castile took the bullet, she was okay. Like you'll find that there's some people who believe that the struggle is not, even if it's 51-49, that it's not exactly the same. What is you speaking to your firsthand experience? Because you've all been on this earth long enough to have a few. Like, how do you feel as you maneuver through this world? Like the stuff that you see on the job, that you've seen in school, like you see these things on the internet, you see them on TV. What kind of chords do they strike with you personally?
I feel like the black man is portrayed to be violent, and authority figures deal with black men in that way. And I feel like for the black woman, there's this image that's painted of us like we're just angry. We're just angry, irrational, violent, but in a different way. It's almost like we're violent with each other versus violent with other cultures, I'd say. So, or we're over-sexualized. But as far as violence go, black men, they're painted more violent, beast-like human beings. You know what I mean? We don't usually get that.
I have to agree with D Haze. I feel like there's levels to it. Okay. I feel like when we talk about black men, I feel like definitely within corporate America and on the job and stuff like that, I get how they are frustrated because they don't necessarily always get seats at those tables. And as far as black women, they allow us seats at the table. So I get that. There is, black women do have it easier in that aspect. However, I believe that, and I also agree that we do have a reputation for being angry and being mad and stuff like that. But I would have to say that I try to not feed into that image, but I also have to, when I look at things, I have to say that we have a right to be. We have a right to be angry. We have a right to be mad. I feel like though the black woman's fall is softer when it comes to corporate America and stuff like that, I feel like the divide that we have between black men and black women, that's a lot. That's like a whole nother beast too. Like, and that's really a real thing, and that happens. And so I get that black men are frustrated. I get that they don't always have the same seats at the table that we do. And so I get that we probably are seemingly getting a better deal. But I also think that black men who use their power and or use their platform for good and for power, I think that those who do have a seat at the table, I think that they have better opportunities and more opportunities than women. Women seem like they're always fighting for power. They're always fighting to be listened to. They're always fighting to be heard, fighting to be respected, and we have to do it on every platform.
Okay, so keeping with that, so in your life experience personally, like jobs you've worked, schools you went to, neighborhoods you lived in, just your interaction in day-to-day life, how much do you personally think about race on the day-to-day basis? And what I mean by that is not racial identification, but the issue of it. Like, because there are some races and some people who walk around the earth and they believe that racism is not an issue because they don't think about it regularly, because the system in which they live in does not directly apply to them. So there's no foot on your neck. There's nobody breathing down your neck. There's nobody hovering over you. There's nobody choke holding you. There's nobody, you know what I'm saying? That if you don't feel the presence of your oppressor, you can kind of forget that they're there. Whereas if you feel him hovering over you all day, it's constantly on your mind. So as you personally, just not big picture, not everybody, but you personally, how often or does that really sit with you on a day-to-day basis?
I would have to say I think about race on a daily basis. I live with it almost. And this is going to sound crazy, but I kind of carry it in my spirit. Like, I live with racism. And I deal with it on a daily basis on my job. It's called institutional racism, those subtle racisms. And then also I deal with it working out in the community where I see that there are certain resources that are afforded to some people. We could just take education.
Okay.
There are certain resources afforded to some people that are not afforded to others. So I would have to say I deal with racism every day. I think about it every day.
Okay, so when you talk about institutional racism, and the reason why I'm asking these questions is because there are narratives that black people just use racism as an excuse. Or if the reason why you fail in this society and you say because there's some racial biases or racial undertones, that's the what we call it, victim mentality and that sort of stuff. So if you were explaining institutional racism, if you're explaining the subtleties on the job, what does that look like to you?
Okay, so let's take institutional racism with regards to education.
Yes.
So, I don't know if you all have been privy to this book, Savage Inequalities. It's a really good book, but basically it was a study done in the 80s, and it talked about the education system and how it was based on zip code.
Okay.
So, if your school is in the hood, you go to school in the hood, you probably have used books or the watered down rendition of books or resources. And if you live in a more desirable neighborhood, then, more resources flood to that community. Now, you may say, well, it's based on property taxes. And so maybe the property taxes are higher there. property tax are lower in the hood. I get that. But these same children are expected to be able to compete when they get to college.
That's not fair.
So it's not fair.
How can they?
To me, I think that's institutional racism, a form of it. Institutional racism with regard to the job or to corporate America. I've been in corporate America for like 29 years. And I see it. I also know what it is when they say that, black women seemingly have it easier. I think that I am more acceptable to be at the table than black men. But I walk around and I look at black men, the few black men that are there on the job, they're either in the mail room or they have the jobs really that nobody wants. I work with somebody that's educated at UC Berkeley, and there are people that exceed him in salary that don't have a college degree.
He might be more qualified for the job. But he was probably skipped over.
He's a black man. And so black men in the boardroom, at the table, I don't think that is something that is desirable.
That's not the picture that they want to see. So.
Okay, some very insightful points. What about you, D? You've existed enough on this planet that these are some very good points. Because, like I said, the picture of the paint is that, okay, so if you get myself and Barry talking, we turn into, we look for escapism when it comes to circumstances. Whenever black men start talking about the issues of racism in America, that's rooted in the victim mentality, and that's supposed to be a reason why we use that. We have not lived up to whatever it is that we want to live in life. So hearing it from women, like I said, it's a different, just by gender, it's going to be, the experience is different. And so, like I said, what's going on in your personal life? So when you think of how often does racism rest on your head? Like, you're gone a week and it didn't really cross your mind, or is it a day-to-day basis? Is it every time you're in a grocery store? Is it, how often does it really sit with you?
I would have to say daily also, and it's not even necessarily just blatant racism in your face, people saying things to you. For me, I'm all about vibes and energy, and sometimes you can just walk into a room and you just know that your presence isn't welcomed. Right. There's a type of uncomfortable feeling that you feel. You just know.
Cognitive dissonance.
Is that what it is?
Kind of, sort of.
Say that word again. Those words.
Oh God, I can't pronounce it. But Jermaine, you correct me if I'm wrong. Cognitive dissonance.
Dissonance. And what is that?
Oh, I was hoping Jermaine would explain it.
There's a point that something sat to you that you said it. So what does that mean to you that pops in your head?
So basically, it's just this underlying, not even underlying, but it's this feeling. I'm going to call it a coping mechanism. I could be wrong, but a coping mechanism that other folks use to quantify or deal with their disdain for us.
Yeah, I think something to the effects of when you feel a certain way, and regardless of what is presented to you, you will kind of overlook whatever it is that's presented to maintain whatever it is that you currently want to believe. So if somebody told you, look, this is the oppression that I feel, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, let me show you. This is what was spray painted on my house. This is what was keyed into my car. This is what was said to my kids. This is whatever. Well, that's just this. I don't know what you're talking about. Like just. So
there's a reason for. You present something to someone with an argument and they have a reason behind it.
That's just their refusal to see it. Mm-hmm. So these are some female perspectives going on. Barry?
I'm just taking in the queens breaking it down. I love it.
That's what I mean. Very rarely do we get a female perspective when it comes to these points. And so, and why I was prefacing that stuff. So first off, racism is a very real issue in America, but that's not a new condition.
Racism? Seriously?
In this post-Obama world, yeah. So there are things that we'll sit there and say that we have issue with, that we want administration to change, that we want laws to be different when it pertains to things that we say fall under the racial umbrella. But they're not things that we look at, but we don't have the same argument for things that are just wrong. So if something has a racial component to it, we want laws changed, we want rip it down, tear it down. But yet we still have R. Kelly with sold out concerts.
Man.
That's not right either.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
that's not
So when we look at
that's a value.
how we approach things, because that's some of the argument that comes from some of these other groups. Like, y'all is going to talk like you standing, like you all about the moral majority, like you're fighting for what's right. But every time Step in the Name of Love come on,
We step in.
y'all out there with the electric slide, and it's playing at every wedding. So how does that fit with y'all? So when you think about what gets you angry because it's got a racial component, but not the same anger when it comes to a moral perspective.
Ooh. Oh,
That was powerful.
that's deep. I have to think about that one for a second. I'm just trying to think.
Well, help her out. Come on.
Well, I would have to say that when you said that, Jermaine, I was just thinking that's a value piece. It's a value piece about us, just certain things that we accept. We're dancing to this beat. It got a nice catchy beat. It's kind of like us. I don't know how old you are, D Haze.
28.
So you don't know about Too Short.
Yeah, I do.
So Too Short has some nice beats.
He does, but he's disrespecting
There's
women.
nowhere in the
and
world
every
that
lyric.
we should have been bobbing our head to Too Short.
But we like to dance.
Blow the whistle.
That's our culture. We like to dance. A lot of times I feel like we don't listen to the lyrics, or like we listen to R. Kelly. We're not thinking about his personal life. We're worried about the music because that's where it touches our soul. The music.
Okay, what you just witnessed was an episode of cognitive dissonance.
You're right.
You're right.
Where
You're
you
right.
have a certain opinion, and that regardless of what information is put in front of you, you will find a justification to hold on to whatever it is that you previously believed. Because you can't tell me that y'all didn't listen to lyrics when you can recite a Too Short song verbatim.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, that means by
Freaky
sheer
tales. You don't know
that
about
means
freaky
by
tales, huh?
Sounds
definition
familiar, but I don't know.
that
Yeah, we knew that. We knew the words.
you know what I'm saying? So I bring this up because if we're trying to have a real conversation about stuff, and let's remove anybody else getting on board with us. This is strictly in-house type stuff. If we're trying to get on the same page and have a clear understanding that we can communicate better, how do we even gauge what's important to us? Like, what is important to us? We've had the conversation before that there are no black community deal breakers.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing you can do that you can't come home. So if we don't have that type of line in the sand to where we say this is what we will morally accept, this is behavior that is we can overlook versus some stuff that's just nah, son. If we don't have that internally in the group, if that's not in the family, how can we keep trying to get that imposed by other people to watch what they do?
I feel like we can't. How can we? At this point, how do we set those morals for our culture? I feel like it's a little bit late. We can start within our homes, how we teach our kids and everything, but how can we really tell other adults, where their morals start and where they end, and what to accept and what not to accept? And yeah, I'm not an R. Kelly fan.
Okay, go ahead. Because you guys are mothers. You are the foundation of a family.
Yeah, I feel you on that, how we can't control other adults and what other adults do. But I feel like, though, we do have to have a bottom. We have to establish a bottom. We have to establish, okay, here are some things that we just won't do. You know what I'm saying? And then we also, too, have to raise the standard. We have to raise our standard.
So does it start with the women?
I'm
saying what we won't do. Does it start with us and we set that tone for our household?
Okay, so you know what? Me and some of my sister friends, we have this argument all the time. And they feel like it should be equally men and women. But I just feel like, and it's my humble opinion, I could be wrong, but I really feel like women have that kind of juice. We have that kind of power. And I feel like we create atmospheres.
So if that's the case, and let's just, for the sake of discussion, say that's true, would the onus be put on you guys as a little bit more on women as to the state of where things are? If you say that this is, Barry, if you say that this is where we at.
Now we're getting blamed.
No, there's a question. If I was to say, if men said we run this, D run this, you know what I'm saying? Like, this king of the castle, shot caller, all comes through me. I'm it. I can't blame anybody else for anything that's going on, because I said it runs through me. I can't say it's 50-50. I can't say we did this. So I'm asking, as women who are present, because there's some confusion amongst men sometimes. You know, we ain't trying to get into no gender battle for the discussion. I would just like perspective. Do you guys see it as a 50-50 thing, or do you all see, you know, your place as a little more value, a little less value?
I think that they're both valued. Each roles are valuable, but I feel like if we accept it, then y'all gonna do it. You get what I'm saying? Like if we establish our bottom right here, then that's as far as you gonna go, right? But if we put our bottom down here, then I have to say that, you know, I just feel like we kind of set the tone.
How's your viewpoint on that, Mr. Accius?
Where did this conversation go? Where did it circulate from here to there? I thought we was talking about black people getting the police called on them. We went to this whole situation. But hey, it is what it is. This is the conversation I didn't want to go to. I really didn't. Because I think that in this moment we're in right now, black women, black men, there's such a unfortunate divide that we don't need to have. And, you know, I personally, myself, I believe in a moment that we're in, we have to clear the house. And the clearing the house is understanding that if there are roles that each of us play, what are those roles? And if they're the roles, do we simultaneously play it at the same time? Or does it have a scale of, at this time, you got that role, at this time, I got that role. But when you're so divided by so many tracks, when you have on one part of the side women bashing men, on another part of the side men bashing women, and we all are saying collectively we're building to be a better people, how can we really say that when we're initially dogging each other, whether it be on social media or confining ourselves in these ideologies because some folks are holding on to hurt and holding on to pain, when the preference of really the majority of our pain is to the people that are keeping us oppressed. So it comes to this idea that black men don't need black women and black women don't need black men, or vice versa. And I really truly believe that it stinks because we are at a place where we need to all be together. And like, we don't have to agree on everything, but I really honestly believe that there's no way we can point the finger at anyone. We're all dealing with hurt and all dealing with frustration on why and what it is. But I know that on the levels of my own upbringing, it took me a lot of time to be mature and understand the significance of my royalty and my queens and my sisters. Not only just having a daughter, watching her grow up, but just the idea of, you know, that there's this powerful aura about black women that I have to lift up. That is my duty. And me not having my mother around, but having my aunties and understanding the struggle and strife. But that doesn't mean that I can't challenge you, or doesn't mean that we're not going to have disagreements. It becomes a thing to where it seems like now, if a black man and black women have an argument about anything, we're called sexist. You know, what are the other words? You guys know all the words.
Male chauvinist.
You know,
all the toxic masculinity.
Yeah, exactly. It becomes a thing. How do I approach and discuss how I'm feeling with you without you taking it to a place where it doesn't need to go, right? How can I express myself without you feeling like I'm oppressing you, as if I have the power to oppress you, even though they say that black men, straight black men, are the new, what is it, white people
of the black community.
Of the black community. It's like and then people are breaking it down like, well, this is why. And I'm not here to argue that, but I think that's one of the lamest and foolish things in a moment where we have one point are showing all these memes about how the other people are treating us, but then turn around and treat ourselves just as worse as when those other people. So how are we conducting ourselves, right? We celebrate the fact that, white people are getting their shit beat out of themselves. But at the end of the day, when we look at black people doing the same thing, you know, everyone has an opinion. You know, well, he was keeping it real. He was keeping it gully. My whole thing, we talk about a guy like R. Kelly. I got rid of R. Kelly CDs when I seen him pissing on a young 14-year-old girl. We all seen the porno, you know, and I was done. At that particular time, I was done. So it was like, you didn't have to tell me who the guy was in the video. But again, our moral compass to things that we will accept and to things that we just won't allow, it really is slim in the black community. I just don't really know where and how we as black people can go back to the days, or maybe the days that it were really never there. It was just kind of like a fictional thing that we just imagine really being in a togetherness where black men and black women had a respect levels for each other to at least know there were some boundaries, compared to, I think a lot of us are talking in a white feminist tone, and the ideas that people are bringing up is actually separating us more from where we need to be together in a place where, how can we effectively attack and defeat white supremacy if we are constantly attacking each other on every angle? And that to me is the bigger problem, the bigger issue, because I go through it all the time. I see folks subliminal messages, and it's like, to all the people that are listening to this show that probably gonna just run it, what is he saying, or what are they talking about? I see you, you know what I'm saying? And you know what? It's black women, and I look at it like, before it was black men, and I get where that's coming from. It's the jealousy, but I work with black women all the time. And I try to hold a higher standard, and I try to, you know, keep it as business as possible. I try to keep it as focused as possible, and I try to constantly give opportunity to my sisters without break, and give them leadership roles. But it seems like it's a constant attack that men who are in leadership, and I was telling you, talking Queen Dana, that kind of don't move the way they're supposed to move, where there's brothers that are in leadership that are trying to lift up their queens. But like, how much more do the guys that are doing the right things, how much more do we have to pay the penalty for the Negroes that are lacking thereof? Like, I don't get no kudos for being one of the greatest fathers ever. People don't even know about my fatherhood. Like, the people won't ever discuss Barry as a great father and what he does with his daughter that people know that I highlight. No one will talk about that. They'll talk about all the other shit. And that shit is, after a while, it gets old. But I still love my sisters.
Well, that's good to know. So a few words back, you mentioned the white feminist perspective. Do you think there's a struggle of power between the black man and the black woman right now?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. And it shouldn't be that way, because my opinion is there's enough pie on the table for both of us. But let's be clear. We ain't even chasing the pie yet. We're still gathering up the crumbs. So I think that the unfortunate part of where we're at right now, it's like, how are we talking about H&M, Starbucks, Waffle House, Hobby Lobby, you know what I'm saying? All these numerous infractions coming from these entities or these individuals, these organizations, about how they're treating us. But then we turn around and look at what we're doing to ourselves. Black men and black women right now, you have women that will always talk about a woman's agenda. You have men that will always talk about a man's agenda. Why are we talking about a full-on agenda? Mm-hmm. Because two separate pies divided don't make a whole fucking pie. You get what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. So, and we all have our own things that we have to do, no doubt. We all have our mans that we need to go and kind of do, our woman we need to kind of go and do. We got all those separate things. But when we're constantly being pulled, what's going to end up happening? Is it the black woman going to start dating Asian men? And is a black man going to just start moving around and navigating to the white women? I mean, what's going on?
Well, I feel like black women already feel like not all black men are on their team anyway. They've been team white girl. Like that. You know what I mean? Or anyone that's not black, for that matter. So I feel like that's part of the issue also.
So do we have to find out what the stem of that and the reason why is? Because, I mean, I just got done professing that I'm team black. Does that count for anything? I mean, does that count for anything?
Kudos for you, definitely, but
I'm just one of what? I mean, what is it? I mean,
like 3.
You're probably like one of 3, in fact.
But that's
what do you tell your youth? Women. What do you tell the youth that you mentor? What do you tell the youth that you mentor?
I mean, I honestly believe as a young man, the reality is, because I was a young man once upon a time.
Were you?
Oh, yes, I was. And I had a lot of per se, because you said it first, I can say it now. I tell my young men to go ahead and find what they like. Find what they like. Do what they want to do with right now. But understand, always bring it back home. Why? I have to say that because I was a young man that dibbled and dabbled myself. I mean, it is easier for when you're young and you just are kind of trying to get to know yourself to be able to kind of just move around and navigate a little bit and see other things, see other flavors, and then understand. But here's the thing. I preference to understand. Understand who your people are, who you are, and what you are bred with, that melanin. You know what I'm saying? So, young bulls is going to just kind of have their moments. Because, I mean, think about it. These high schools, it's not all crawling around with black women. Come on now. These high schools is not all crawling around with young black girls running around here. So they're going to see a little bit of a difference. But then I also school them on what the reality is.
And you also have to remember, too, for a lot of these young men, their mamas aren't black. So we have there's the idea that they will be black in society and in life, but when they go home, so they make there's supposed to be the narrative that if you're a black man and you don't have a black woman, that you hate yourself or you hate your mother or whatever that craziness is. But
my mama white.
But I'm saying, so if all of a sudden if he goes home and his mama's Asian or his mama's Hispanic or his mama's white, does that mean if Barack came home with a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman, does that mean he hate himself and his mama? Though that woman is a closer reflection of what his mother looked like than the women that he would see in life. So I'm saying, for some of them, for the young man to that's real for them. Like I said, when they go home and look at mama named Maria. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't even put that in their head of telling them don't, especially if they're 13, 14, 15. I wouldn't say, I would just make them knowledgeable of who they are, what they're seeing in this world, their struggles in their lives, but they're going to find what they want to find.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I appreciate your perspective. I just want to ask both of you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it does to young black girls when they see and find that the young black boys don't desire them?
What does it do to young black boys when they see the black girls don't seem to desire them? It's the same thing. I mean, like I went through my middle school and high school career having a lot of black women that denied me a lot. So it's not like it's just black women that are just feeling the brunt of getting rejection. It's black boys as well. And you have to understand maybe that because the black boy might have a little bit more options at that particular time to kind of go to the other side. But a lot of the times there is not this scale that other cultures lift up for the black male. Like that's why some young black males run to the other side of the fence, because there's not a scale. There's not like, it's just kind of come as you are. I love you, babe. It's almost kind of like that.
But you can't meet my parents.
Hey, that's okay as long as you're giving
16, me. You're probably not too concerned. With that.
Exactly. We don't care about that. I mean, I'll meet you in the back. So it's not like we're trying to see your parents anyway. I'm just being honest. It's like, okay, well, hey, gonna pick me up? Yeah. So when we're dealing with the stress that we're dealing with, the commotion of our life that we're dealing with, when someone just embraces us for just being who we are, and we not even knowing who we are at that particular time, it's a good feeling. So that notion that it's black boys are just dogging out black women, and like black women are dogging out black boys, it's kind of almost like we want the black woman to play that victim role when there's a lot of young black boys that go through the same thing. Some of the I remember there was this one young sister, I wanted her.
Take us back.
Oh, Shamba, take you back. But she wanted the baller. I remember I was walking her home and the baller pulled up, older G, you know what I'm saying? I hung out with him a little bit because, I was that kind of young dude. And I'm walking her home, and I was just, I'm just, kind of in my moment, singing her Bobby Brown or something like, don't be cruel, hey, my little yellow Walkman and stuff like that. OG pulls up. What's up with you, boy? What's up, my dude? And he just comes and puts a sign. She's like, okay, B, I'll see you. Let's go tomorrow. And jumped in. And so how did that affect me as a young black boy?
I'm sure that it affected you in some type of way. But do you notice that you never answer my question? Because I'm not trying to negate how a young black boy might be feeling if a black woman or a black girl rejected him. I'm not saying that. I just asked you what your thought was. How do you think young black girls feel? I get what you're saying, King, and I get it. And I think that the young black boys, they probably feel rejected or that they don't measure up if black girls are rejecting them. I don't know if that's happening at the same level, vice versa. So I was just wondering, is that a value piece? We get our value from men. Well, no.
No, you said no. You said
Let me clear that up.
You said it.
Let me clear that up. I don't mean to say that we get our value from men. However, we don't get all of our value from men, but we do like male attention, and that does that makes us pop our collar a little bit.
Okay,
and I feel like it's not even about male attention. I feel like it starts with the media. I feel like.
Okay, would you want us to answer the question?
But I'm just saying. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm just saying. But again, I answered your question because I said
you answered the same question.
No, the same exact way you feel is the same exact way we feel. How can you say you don't think it is? I gave you a perfect example of the young black girl that I wanted so bad, that I was trying to get, that I walked her home every day singing Bobby Brown, was freaking bringing her flowers, bringing her freaking extra lunch. You know what I'm saying?
But
what's your favorite?
What color was the baller?
Listen, he was black. He was an older black
How
male.
many years ago was this, though?
Okay, but
How many years ago?
I mean, was it what?
Okay.
Middle school, high school, freshman year?
So to clean this up, because I think the part where y'all missing is that he's addressing rejection is rejection.
Exactly.
You're picking and choosing the reason for the rejection.
I thought that's what we were.
No. I'm saying we're just where this confusion is, so we can clean this up, so we can, keep it pushing. Okay. Is that he's sitting? You're saying how do you think a young black girl feels when she is not the object of this young black boy's affection? He's saying the same way a young black man feels when he's not the object. You don't have to agree. I'm answering the question.
Right.
Okay. So,
but it's like this. It's like you women sometimes don't want to feel. You guys really want to put yourself like you guys are the only ones feeling rejection because you're saying like this can't be true. You black males can't feel that way when you're getting rejected by us. But it's the reality.
But you're getting rejected. The other guy was black.
No, but see, this is, I think, the part where we're having the confusion.
Does it really matter?
It's not like you were walking with your Walkman and everything, and there was a white boy pulled up, and that black girl hops into the white boy's car. That's what we're talking about.
Does it matter?
See, this is what I'm saying. What we're missing.
That's what we were speaking of.
No. Okay, let's clean this up so we can get past this, because this impasse is not that big of a deal. Because I think what we're missing, you have in your mind, you believe that it makes a difference if the person is of a different race. What we're sitting there saying is rejection is rejection. You want it to mean something more if a black woman rejected a black man for a white man as opposed to another black man. And we're simply saying it doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
So I'm saying that rejection is rejection. That her say that a man presenting himself to her and her saying no for whatever reason is rejection.
And let me preface into another piece again of saying, I said a particular piece that it seemed when I was growing up younger, there was a lot of black girls that I wanted. I had to be more than what I was. Like I created up a whole persona called Smooth B just to get girls. Because Barry Accius wasn't working. I had to be like, oh, God, this is not working right now. Smooth B. And next thing you know, Mr. Hustler, he's, Mr. Fly Guy, Mr. Outspoken, Shit Disturber. Now this, hey, look at him. What I'm saying is black male, older, pulled up, cute black girl. She jumped in the car, not knowing what her situation is, whatever. But I'm saying it seems like with a lot of black girls when I was growing up, the ones that I had around, you had to be a little bit more than just the average Joe Bear. Where The others, they don't care what you are, come as you may. You get what I'm talking about? Like, that's kind of like the difference. That you don't have to kind of create this aura and this lore to lure them in, to bring them. So the pains that we're all inflicting on each other, none of it is right, you know what I'm saying? In a sense, but the way we feel ain't none of it's wrong. So what you're saying as a black woman's perspective, I understand it, I feel. What I'm saying as a black male perspective, you have to understand it because it's real. I'm telling you what it was. But I think what we carry on too much is that black women are the only ones feeling rejected. Like that, whoa, we're with this, and y'all black males. I mean, it kind of comes off
the
like
narrative,
that.
the idea of I don't want no broke ass dude. I don't want no this, that, whatever.
Come on.
But if you can go down a grocery list of reasons why a black woman would not want a black man. Just pick them. You know, whatever reasons that you can sit there and say. And the difference of saying that, okay, well, I don't want no dude that's broke. I don't want to do this short. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that, whatever. If you incorporate color, then that's supposed to make it different. Like if a black man presented himself to 10 different black women and they all said no for 10 different reasons, he got rejected like 10 times. It didn't matter if each of them turned around to another black man, or if they turned around to an Asian man, or turned around to a woman, to a black woman. Like, he's just taking 10 L's in a row.
And other races ain't doing that, yo.
And that pain is just as real.
I've never heard, even if they thought it, I've never heard things like, oh, shoot, my man got to make this much money. I mean, I need someone at 6'2", you know what I'm saying? And they end up getting all of the ones that are 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". But they don't say none of that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, off the top, the battle between black men and women is psychological because we start killing each other off our wordplay. And I don't know if that's due to dysfunctional family, due to upbringing, due to the lack of their black love. But there is something that's coming from both sides. There's not one side doing more than the other. That's what I'm saying. That's why I believe that this divide has to be communicated so we can figure out why. Because I love my black sisters. I love them. I ain't going to give up on y'all. Don't even trip. I done had my walk through the mountains with other ones. And I'm like, I'm home. I'm here. I'm not going nowhere, because when I look at a black woman, woo-wee, oh, Lord, the flavors, it's like being in an ice cream parlor with y'all. You get what I'm talking about? Mocha, caramel, fudge, what you on?
Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But there still is this immediate shift, because it's very scary. It's going to be a lot of us not together in a place and in a time that we really need to be together and stick with each other in tumultuous times, because it just looks real ugly. I mean, I see the patterns in places where it used to be, okay, I'm going to find a bunch of black couples like Atlanta, Chocolate City, D.C. Oh, no, it's not even close to that no more.
You can find couples, but it's Michael and Stevie walking hand in hand in Atlanta.
Don't even think like that.
I said, like, okay, so I think one thing is wrapping that part of it up. Is you pose the question, I assume, for a specific reason. Because if you ask the question, what do you think that does to black girls? What does it? Because I think that there was a reason behind it, as opposed to, because whatever our answer was not satisfying what the basis of your question was. So go ahead and share what you believe that does.
Well, I just believe that I believe that it does play on their self-esteem, to not be desirable by someone who looks like you. You guys have the same struggle, and you guys have, probably have the same desired outcome, definitely have the same work that has to be done. So, and for that person, that man not to desire you, I think that can play on someone's self-esteem. Now, if you're a person with high self-esteem and or higher self-esteem, and that doesn't bother you, I don't know. I just think that it does bother. I know it would bother me. Okay. Do I think that men should be able and women should be able to love who they love? Absolutely. I believe that they should, but I don't know. I do take issue with men that exclude black women because they're black.
Okay, what about the ones that don't exclude? Meaning, there are a lot of people. Before we get too deep on it, there are a lot of people who it's not either or. It's like, I don't eat pizza because I hate burgers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there are people, it's not the exclusion part. I don't know any black dudes that I know that are saying I exclusively do not date black women. I don't know any of them.
Really?
Though I know
I do.
I do.
I don't. But I mean, even the ones that I know who
if
have
it ain't white, it ain't right.
But, no. I've heard black men who say that they have a preference of someone who's not black. Like they say that I love Asian women or I love whatever. Never in their little speech or rhetoric do they mention a disdain or a disconnect or a dislike for black women. Like I said, if you sat there and said pizza's my favorite food, you didn't say anything. You didn't say that you hated tacos or that you hated ribs or that you hated. There has to be one or the other.
No, I've heard brothers.
Well, I'm just saying for me. I'm not speaking for the masses and for the whole. So I'm saying that there are a percentage of people out there. Really? That I'm just saying that does exist. The same way that a woman can reject a man, not for another man, or that she can reject a man you could reject somebody for any reason. So if some man approached you and you weren't into him and you told him no thank you, and however you do that, and then you ended up with somebody else, it may have absolutely nothing to do with the one who asked you before him. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that sometimes to justify and rationalize things in our head, we connect dots sometimes that aren't there. And so, well, he said no to her, but he ended up with her. It must mean because he compared her to her. That's not true. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how much does that work in, or does it always have to be a comparison?
Can I say something? I understand having a preference, a racial preference when it comes to dating, but I don't think that degrading black women, if you're a black male and you don't date black women, perfect, fine, date whoever you want to date, but that does not give you the right to talk down about black women, especially amongst crowds that aren't black.
I get that. No one thinks that's okay.
The same thing,
but
it happens all the time.
No. I get once again. No one is condoning that.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying that that's okay. I'm saying that that's not always the case.
Not always, of course, of course.
First of all, social media is a horrible representation of people. So that's a horrible representation. That is, if you were to say that it's anywhere accurate truth, the World Star represents black Americans. Is that what we're saying? No, nobody would say that. So to say that it's the same way that they'll look at athletes and rappers and entertainers who have non-black women represents the majority. No, the majority of black men are married to black women.
We just don't see it.
No. Statistically, that's not even a debatable argument. Like of black men who are married, the majority of them, most of them, it's like 70% of married black men are married to black women. But
we see the opposite.
Well, because the average dude who works at Target is not on the cover of a magazine. So I'm saying if you want to make the argument per profession, if you were to say over this tax bracket, what's the percentage, it may be different. But the dude who mops floors at Walmart, who's married to a black woman, he's not on the cover of TMZ. He's not being focused. So you don't see him. So that's what I'm saying. Social media is a poor representation of what actually is. So this idea that most black men don't date black women is just wrong. It just is. So I'm saying, but all this stuff that goes on, like I said, I think that we have some gaps that need to be filled in, that fill in with communication. And if we can get to the point to where we're not just in our feelings about stuff, but we actually hear each other when we speak. Because you can't hear and listen to a conversation that you're only waiting to hear something that either validates your point or you're just waiting for your turn to talk. Like that, there's no growth there. There's no communication. There's no bridging. There's no growing. So I think that some of the things that we need to do is get past what we already believe we know and be open to actually learning something new when it pertains to the person that we're speaking to. Because I think that those are where a lot of the gaps that we miss. Those are some of the things that we do socially. Those are some of the things we do romantically. Those are the things that we do within our households, within our jobs, within a bunch of walks of life that keep us separated because we're so married to what we know that we don't leave room to grow. So these are things that I think that we have to address. Go on here. We're going into summary, but go on and go ahead and knock that out. Go on. You here?
I just want to say, Jermaine, do you feel like we are doing that?
People as a whole do that.
But not Dana.
I'm not picking.
Oh, okay.
These are things that we need to address, to acknowledge, and definitely say something about.
Destiny Hayes wants to finish what she was going to say. Finish.
No,
Relax.
I had a few things today, but it's okay.
No, go. We want to hear.
No,
we want to hear. No, we want to.
We got
hear
you
it.
here. We got
We
you here in
wanna
the
hear it.
building.
What I was gonna say.
No, I want to hear it. We need to hear it. The world wants to hear it.
What I was gonna say, it's already been covered. 1 and 2, it was many conversations ago. So next podcast.
Special guest in the building, D Haze. Where can folks find you online for more riveting conversation like this?
My Facebook is Destiny Keela Hayes, DESTINEE. On Instagram, I am.DestinyHaze. Yeah.
Dana, where can folks find you?
My name is Dana Maisha, DANA MAESHIA. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook.
Barry Accius.
Barry Accius, Twitter. It's going crazy. Instagram at Team Void and Barry Accius, Facebook. BlackBlueprintsWithAZ.com.
I'm Jermaine Morris on Facebook. Every other social media platform is at JMorrisCEO. Special round of applause for our special guest today.
They feel that nothing got solved here.
Sometimes it's just about opening dialogue and starting to have some conversations.
Black women, we love you.
Yes, we do. I'm Jermaine Morris. This is Barry Accius for the Say Something podcast.
Black women for real.
And until next show, we will holla at you later.
Say something.